His hobbies are hashtag carrying a Whole Foods bag, hashtag none of your business. Join Toastmasters to speak like a pro. Speech number needs new manuals. Here we're wasting a speech and we don't even have a manual to put it in. Our speech objective is to speak competently. His time is for 5 to 7 minutes. And the title of his presentation, The Disappearing Male. The Disappearing Male. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Matt Stafford.
The Disappearing Male. DTM Esposito, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. And no, I'm not talking about the post office. If I was talking about that, I'd be doing a comedy speech. The disappearing male is something that's been going on globally that no one has any idea what I'm talking about. In the last 50 years, 50% of the sperm a male has been cut in half. Basically, we have some serious issues going on around here. The chemicals I'm going to talk about that have been affecting this is BPA. Has anyone heard of BPA?
No.
Phthalates. And these are all byproducts of the gas and oil industry. BPA was created about 100 years ago, and it was originally an estrogen hormone that scientists were actually going to use to create therapy for people that needed estrogen. Lo and behold, they found another use for BPA. It makes plastics soft. So you can buy plastic bottles and all the detergents and all sorts of toys. So that's how BPA is now prevalent in all of our food supply. Phthalates are also in a bunch of our products in the gas and oil industry, from fertilizers to pesticides, to you name it, from fracking to oil spills, it's all over the place. So, there are different areas in the world where people have been tracking and studying the involvement of these pollutants, these gas. And in Central Florida, some biologists have been studying alligators in very polluted waters for the last 25 years. They've been studying the reproductive cycle of alligators and the testosterone levels, the genital size, and they've discovered there's been a 90% decline in births for the alligators because the reproduction rate is so low. And they found the male alligators have the same testosterone that a woman should have. And they found the cause and effect is they've been exposed to pesticides and fertilizers, the same stuff that people have been getting exposed to. For example, there's a town in Canada that's very close to the smokestacks. In Canada, if you don't know, it's the main industrial component to Canada is mining shale oil. And they put these plants next to Indian reservations. And these Indian reservations are getting pollutants. And about 7 times a day, a siren goes off, and it's when they're releasing the pollutants. And when they release the pollutants, there's nothing these people can do. And for years, the locals there didn't mind, didn't care. It was a middle-class town. Then all of a sudden, everything started dying in the region. Another part of this area is being exposed to these chemicals is there's been a 2-girl to 1-man birth. And such an anomaly has created all sorts of scientists all over the world studying this area where these gas and oil residues come out of these smokestacks. And what the scientists have concluded is this is the first sign of extinction, is exposure to all of these pollutants and chemicals. And what's happened there is the mothers getting pregnant, they get exposed to these chemicals, and what they're doing around 7 weeks, they have miscarriages because the pollutants really impact the males for some reason more than women. And so people will have 3 women, will have 3 girls, and then they'll have 3 girls, and then 2 girls, and it's just very bizarre there. And the industry is so controlling, and there's so many lobbyists, no one can do anything about this. They actually built a statue in that town dedicated to the workers and people who were affected by the pollutants, and they closed the statue down because they said it was too polluted to have a park, even though everyone still lives there, which I don't understand that. Little kids, little children are affected. They play with plastic little toys, and every toy has BPA. That's how it's soft. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any plastic toys, or the carpet, the couches, the flame retardant products. You just absorb it, and it affects the sexual development of children, which turn to adults. Kids in college have half the sperm count that their fathers had. So you must be wondering, how are all these accidental pregnancies? Well, simply, someone has to win the Special Olympics. So the World Health Organization, the normal level was 80 million per sample. They dropped it to 60 million per sample. They dropped it to 40, to 20, and they're thinking about dropping it to 10, because if they say everyone is infertile, then there's a problem, and then something has to be done. Then you take couples all over the world. They all, not everyone, but lots of couples need to go to a doctor and have an IV, test tube baby. I forgot the fertility clinics. And it's not something you go around bragging to your buddies. I went to a fertility clinic to have children, even though it's very widespread and it's being done by tons of people. The biggest factor of how it affects human health is when a woman's pregnant. Because when a woman is pregnant, the baby's exposed to everything. And they used to say the placenta wall created a nice barrier, but it doesn't. And you're wondering how someone is exposed to all of these toxins and ingredients. Well, BPA is in our water, it's in our cans of our food, and it's an estrogen, and it affects the development of the children. Another thing is cosmetics. They have something called phthalates in them. You could buy things that say phthalates free, BPA free. What happens when you put lotion onto your hands and it's gone? It doesn't evaporate into thin air. It gets absorbed into your bloodstream, which then affects your body. Perfumes, hair gel, shampoo, all these things, where they end up? They end up in your body. So what I would say is, be careful what you eat, be careful what you drink, because everything around you, your entire environment, can make you sick. It can affect your development, it can affect your kids' kids, and you need to watch out for what you do. Fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Separate. Our final speaker this evening is in his basic manual.